Hi, I want to tell you my dream and its interpretation. There was a woman, she was bigger in shape and she was not the best looking, not in the best position in life, just really in a bad place. And there was a man who loved her so much. Like, he was so in love with her. And he carried her everywhere. Like, this was a strong man, because let me tell you. Anyways, he carried her. He would not let her feet touch the ground, literally. And at one point, they went into this room, and on the TV, they were watching, or there was a picture of a group of people, and she was in that group. I couldn't tell. They were ravenous people. Like, if you ever seen an old vampire movie, that's what they looked like. Like, they were all vampires. And she was in this group. I couldn't tell if she was being fed on or feeding. But that was in this TV. And her and the man looked at the TV and then kept it moving. Like, they looked and then they kept it moving, and they were just so in love. And what happened next was this man disappeared. And I saw her looking at like if you've ever seen a memorial. There was like a memorial, and she was grieving, and he was standing behind her, but he was not there. It was like his spirit standing behind her, and she was grieving. And the next thing I saw was this woman, same woman, carrying now a child, holding the child in her hand, and it was a little girl she was holding in her hand. And she would not let this child walk on the ground. She carried her everywhere, all the way, like they went on the airplane. She carried her to her seat until she was like grown. I mean, this girl was like of age, like 18. And to that day, she carried her everywhere. And the girl could walk, but she would not put her down. And so you could tell that it was weighing on her daughter. She wanted to walk. She wanted to run. But the woman would not let her feet touch the ground. And at one point, she and her daughter were watching a video on TV. I couldn't tell what the video was, but I heard her say, watch this part again. And she kept rewinding the same part. And she said, you can hear him breathe. And so what she was doing was trying to have her daughter hear her father, who it was, hear his breath, like she was trying to keep him alive for her. And her daughter was actually very annoyed by this. It wasn't the first time. She was over it. And then I woke up. That was my dream. So the interpretation of this dream is, the woman that I saw in my dream was somebody that I know. Her face was not the same in the dream, but God told me who this woman was. And the man in the dream he has a twofold meaning. He actually represents her husband who passed away. And her husband loved her even when no one else did. Loved her, taught her how to love herself, and just gave her so much, poured so much into her that she felt like her feet were never touching the ground until he passed away. And when he passed away, he left her with a legacy. Not only her children, but a ministry he left her with. And so to this day, she feels like it's her job to keep his voice alive within his ministry and for his children. That was the first meaning, because it's twofold. The second meaning, and actually the most important of the two, is who the man represents. This man also represents Jesus' place in her life, how he carried her. It didn't matter her past. He loved her, never let her go. But she's looking now as though she just wants to be with him. She knows he's present, but she's looking at him as though he's not physically there. Like she's grieving not being in heaven with him. She's ready to go. But she still has this ministry that she was left with, that he gave to her. And she feels that it's her job to be his voice, to keep his voice alive for his children. She doesn't realize that it's time for them to be free, that her children just want to walk, and he will make himself known to them. Her children just need to walk and be free. But she's so sad, just in so much grief because of the weight that she's carrying, trying to keep his voice alive for them, not realizing that she doesn't have to do that. Anyways, that's the interpretation of the dream, and God wanted and wants me to pray for her. That's why he gave me the dream. He wanted me to pray for her. And being that he gave me the interpretation of the dream, I now know what to pray for. And that's what I did. And I have also prayed that if it's God's will for us to connect and for, me to speak a word to her for him, then that will happen. But now this woman can get some more breakthrough because God knows her heart and he revealed it to someone who will pray on her behalf. That is the interpretation of my dream. And so I say this to tell you, if you are having a dream that God has given to you and is pressing on your mind and you feel like you know the interpretation, but you need help, or you don't know the interpretation and you want help, I'm here. God has pressed on me to share this gift with the world. So don't be shy. Also, don't let pride stop you from asking for help, because that's what we're here for, brothers and sisters, to help one another, to support one another. We are one in the body of Christ. Let me help you with the interpretation of your dream. It is a gift of mine that God has blessed me with for this time, for his people. So reach out to me. My email, my contact information is in my bio. I'll also put it here. Let me know. It is free. I'm not charging. It is free. God bless you. Talk to you soon.